Welcome back. Here's where you left off. Spoilers ahead for chapters 28 through 32 of Convergence, Book 5, Desperate Measures. So double tapping an ogre is apparently a thing, Leonard.
Just in case you need to permanently, make him not wake up anymore.
Mike's like, I'll take care of this. He just starts blowing away people with whatever he had bread or whatever he had, and people are like, oh, he's like, it's like David and Goliath kind of stuff, and he's like, double tap. That's how I do it.
Well, I have a feeling that Mike. I realized that some parts of the chapters were like he's finally understanding that he is not completely in charge. He has to someone else has a better skill sets than him, so he has to, make way for people who actually know what they're doing in this scenario, right? And I'm glad that he's embracing that, and at the same time he's learning that he is not the alpha male in this group of misfits. Don't you think?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I like that he had his moment. Because Giselle has been kicking butt and everything, and I just love that Mike gets to have his moment where he just double taps the ogre, and he's like, "Okay, guys, I'm done." And the best part was he takes the sword and he's like dragging back this massive sword, and Kaz's like, "Why'd you do that?" He's like, "Oh, it's kind of cool." Like,
I need the sword. Like, I need to put something in my mental.
I don't blame him for first guy to double tap an ogre. It's like great. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to bring up here, the first thing I wanted to bring up really, besides Mike being cool, was apparently Craig is totally about the Marvel movies, and he just keeps on introducing all the Marvel characters.
It makes a lot of sense because people are reading this book. The only thing that they know about Odin and Thor and Loki is through Marvel. So it makes a lot of sense that he makes reference to that movie itself. But again, it's one of those things that you have to know your audience. If your audience only knows Thor and Odin and Loki and the whole mythical thing, of course you can refer to that one because people can refer to it pretty easily, right? So I don't mind it at all because it actually puts a perspective of what's how people are thinking. You can't just say that kind of historical items or mythological creatures out there without any real world examples, right? So it makes a lot of sense, and I give kudos to that one because it makes a lot of sense. It helps the audience to imagine what the person is actually trying to write, right? And in the same time too, it's nice to see the Nether gods actually working. They're actually forefront of the story because it's nice to just not about just hearing it, actually seeing it as well too, and saying, hey, Loki showed up, and Loki is not it's not what you think about Loki from the Marvel world, right? This is like Loki of how it's been reimagined and just using what's real life examples to sort of ties that in. So that's really nice to see. And to be honest with you, 2 thumbs up in my opinion. And it's a nice story. It's a nice way to tell the story as well. So
I agree. It's a nice. I like the take on it. I just thought it was funny that I'm sitting there going, was Craig binging the Marvel movies while writing this book? And he's just like, I'll just do this. There's so much of it in here. But you're right. I think you made a really good point where you're like, he's reimagining the characters in a way that's sort of interesting. There's historical lore there. We joke about it being Marvel, but really it isn't. And then even some of the tropes about, he gives him a book and he's like, is he tricking you? Is he not? Is it, that's sort of the idea that Loki is a trickster and so forth. But what I did find interesting was Kaz wanting to become. I could see Craig building here. Craig is building, like he gets the Kaz to save the the Asgard dead and to have the Valkyries take them off to Valhalla and everything. And that's wonderful to do. It sort of leaves Kaz with allies in the Nether. Right?
That was the plan, though. That was the plan originally going in there.
I know, but he didn't really leave necessarily. Well, I guess he did. I was going to say not with the gods' support, but the Valkyries made it clear that their god would look favorably on him for helping out the dead and so forth. So it might have not happened exactly the way he wanted it to, but it really was moving forward with how I think Craig wants to set up the next book, right? And I have a question: did when Kaz went through the portal or got the portal open and sent everybody through? Did the Asgardian people go with him? Because Macarius had a couple of those guys with him, or did he leave with the other general guy who was there? I was wondering if I missed that part.
No, you didn't miss anything. So when they went at the end, when they went through the portal, it's just a group. It's just a gang. It's Macaria. It's everyone. Everyone except the extra characters was introduced, so they stayed in the Nether, and the misfits. I'm just gonna call them the misfits to make it easier for you to understand. Everyone showed up into the other side of Paris. We just don't know what year or what part of what century Paris it is, but they showed up in Paris. Everyone's there, but everyone else from the Atlanteans, the Asgards, everyone stayed at the Nether. Right, so you didn't miss anything. It was a little confusing because I thought some people came with them, but not everyone who went to the Nether came back with Macarius, right?
Yeah. I mean, the other interesting thing that happened was the dragon who showed up with her.
That was pretty cool. To be honest with you, I was when they returned the dragon a couple of books ago, right? And when the dragons were flying away, the first thing out of my mind is like, you think this is the same dragon that showed up in Earth or Midgard or whatever you want to call it? I'm not sure. But when the mummy dragon showed up and said, "You saved my son," I'm like, "Oh, yep, that's the same one. Yep, I understand." So I'm kind of like, okay, so it's circular. It's a thing. And it's kind of funny though, because if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong here. When Cass saved the dragon and sent it back, Mike wants to kill the dragon, but Cass is like, no, we'll send him back. And people and Mike is like, hopefully we don't regret this. I knew that was going to come back somehow in some way, fashion, and it did show up, and I'm glad it did. It's pretty nice to is whoever he helped comes back and help him. You know, it's nice to see that. So
it is nice. I agree. And the other thing is that he's sort of taking the I think it was like one of the last chapters there, Kaz was talking about like the gods can't create portals. Only the wizards can create the portals, which is kind of interesting to me because they're from Earth. So I guess only wizards from Earth can create the portals. But, you know, he realized that he's the only one that can, you know, manipulate the portals to the Nether, right? And so, you know, he has this realization that he might not be the most powerful wizard around, but he has skills that other people don't. And I did find it interesting that we didn't get Theo again back in the book, which is really interesting because the first part of the book was really about Theo. And then the tone of the book changed and went over to the Nether, which is not a problem. I just thought we would have a wrap up with Theo at the end of the book. I'm sure Theo's going to come back in and everything, but it's just really interesting. And I mean, Craig usually, I'm sure, has an outline of Theo comes back in this moment or whatever through his outline, whatever that is, multiple books. That's how he writes. But I just couldn't figure it out at that moment, you know?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't mind it at all because how we left Theo before we went to the Nether is he was injured, right? And for him not showing up at all makes a lot of sense because the mission of these chapters was to find a god, right? And they did, right? And the biggest thing that came up in this whole thing was Macarius being alive and And the biggest thing that he had to learn was he's a wizard. I think I'm going to save my comments on this one in the final book review, but he's a wizard, and for him showing that he's trying to hold this portal, getting the Valkyries in and out the what did they call it, the dead spot or the forgotten or whatever, getting all those souls, right,
get all the souls out,
and you see him struggling because remember going in that point he was exhausted. He used too much magic, and there's a lot of magic around him, but at the same time, I got this feeling he was just overwhelmed how much magic he's been using, and I think they because Macaria said they've been away for years, right? Oh, sorry, for months or whatever. I can remember the ratio.
No,
there.
they've been away for a couple of years.
A couple of years,
yeah.
And him using all this magic and opening that portal or that gate or whatever you want to call it, it works for him, but at the same time he's exhausted. And when they were trying to go back to Middle Earth wrong genre, but going back to their reality, it's he noticed that there's something else is happening, right? And I think that's a very key thing going forward, because I have a feeling. Again, I'm gonna keep my speculation to the final book review. I have this feeling something's actually happening. Something's happening when he opened that portal back to their own world, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have a larger discussion about sort of that in the full book review. But in general, do you find that the ending of the book was something that you were happy with? Actually, before I ask you that, we have to talk about the most important thing that was brought up in the last few chapters, and that is Macarius' show. Is a Law and Order and House Hunters smash a good idea? This is a very important question.
Okay. When he described it, it's in like House Hunters, but using house hunting skills to look for housing for witness protection program. To be honest,
is it weird that I found it made sense? Is it weird that it made
sense?
It was weird, right?
It's not you thing. It's not a me thing. It's just a universe thing. It makes a lot of sense. So why not do a show that's saying that yes, the U.S. Marshals is trying to find housing for witness protection for witness protection, and we're gonna ask the house hunters to find them a house at the same time, and it makes sure that they're safe and get new identity. It makes a lot of sense. It's like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Racer again, all over again, but less violent. It makes a lot of sense. It's just me. I think it's just you too. It makes a lot of sense to do that kind of show.
I thought somebody's gonna come out with that now.
Someone else. Someone else is gonna be doing this.
Join us next time as we review Convergence Book 5, Desperate Measures by Craig Alanson. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share a review. We love to hear from you. Send us an email at yourbookmarksinfo@gmail.com. Join us again right here where you left off.